is my review of last Saiyuki, Chapter 21, Lost in Translation. Good Lord, Momo. I mean, Ryu's mother, she is... Jesus Christ, she is something else. I mean, it said in the first tale that after 12 deaths, he woke up in basically 1 second. And yet, she stayed asleep for 12 days. If you do the math, that means at least 1 million deaths. She died over 1 million times, again and again and again. And that in itself is somewhat impressive, but what really pushes it over the top is the fact that she did not make a single sound the entire time. I mean, at a certain point, you can just kind of, give yourself up to the madness and insanity and the pain of dying over and over again. But no, to keep herself from saying a single sound, she would have had to stay completely, 100% entirely focused on her task the entire time, never once allowing herself a minute, a second of peace, afraid that she could slip up, as she suffered again and again and again. I mean, it was even said this was not something that should have killed her. It was a trial, something that was supposed to make her stronger and breathe energy into Cage by her being there. This wasn't supposed to actually freaking kill her. Even Gohaku said that, and yet, for 12 days straight, she pushed herself. Well, we said for 12 days, but for her, it was probably hundreds of thousands or even millions of years, as she experienced death again and again without ever making a peep, all for the sake of the people she loved, for her son and for her husband. It was said that in order for someone to incubate K, they needed to have a family. They needed to have something they would be willing to protect above everything else. Otherwise, after the first few deaths, they would lose themselves. They would give up to the insanity. They would scream. They would beg for it to stop, and that would be the end of it. They would end up with an imperfect K, one who didn't have the power needed to stop the final story. And so, she was given a husband and a son to protect, to create bonds to make her want to save the world. And this is all incredibly necessary for Kay to be stronger than ever before, because this monster, the last monster they're fighting this time, is literally unbeatable. Perhaps because he's just more powerful than any who's ever come before, but also because humans are weaker. Their mailboxes are becoming hard to open because they believe in science, the freaking nut jobs. And now, every year, less and less people are able to obtain a true human form. Apparently, even the shrimp, who is only half-hearted in his determination. And even though he is, because there are so few actual candidates, he's already a top official. Gohaku, on the other hand, is considered the favorite of Dotsu because of his overwhelming desire not to die, being literally the only thing he cares about. I mean, it's said that he has a lightning-like Niobe, which, interesting. I originally thought they meant lightning reflexes, but it also says it burned everything to the ground. I think his Niobe might have actually turned into lightning. Also, apparently he has regenerative powers that verge on immortality. So yeah, that's basically what a true human is supposed to look like, I guess. Though, according to him, he's only walking the right path and hasn't attained the same levels as Master Dotsu. And so he agrees to marry her, as he says, just solely for the fact that they're going to have a strong kid together, and hey, then he can use that kid as a shield so he won't have to die, which, okay. But doesn't work quite that well. She hugs him, and then something inside him breaks. And then he sees his child, and he no longer thinks, I don't want to die. He thinks, I don't want you to die. And as he says, that moment I felt something inside me snap. And I felt overwhelming guilt and fear. Shortly after that, he lost his eye because he's lost his power. He's no longer the perfect human form he used to be. And according to Master Dotsu, he knew this would happen. He knew that he would fall in love and lose his abilities. But it was worth it for the creation of the ultimate K. One who could outshine all of those who had come before her. One with no feet to tie her to the earth, with no hands to feel warmth, and no vision to see the illusions that obstruct the truth. She was a true perfect human, and yet something unexpected happened. She said she was scared. Which I'm assuming, if you're an unfeeling, ultimately powerful god, you shouldn't be able to feel fear. That's just my guess, though. So yeah, somehow this Kay, even though she's supposed to be perfect, even though she is essentially perfect and that she has, flying powers and can sense where monsters are and everything else, she still has feelings, which really breaks everything everyone knows about true perfect human. They're supposed to be, as the shrimp said, an inanimate object, cold and distant, and yet she wasn't. She was supposed to be a god, perfect, and yet she feels things. She has emotions. If I had to guess, I'd say that's because Momo literally put her entire life, her entire being, all of her feelings of love for her children into her, into Koru to give her life, and because of that, she feels, she knows love, and she knows emotions. Now, I'm not sure if that makes her weaker or not. It's possible. I can certainly see Dotsu trying to erase those memories, those feelings from her, but Gohaku probably intervened. It's still unclear why he decided to kidnap her and bring her home so that Ri would bind with her, but maybe it's because he views her as his child and he wants her to have a somewhat normal life. He wants her to, I don't know, maybe believes that the human emotions in her won't make her weak, but will give her something to protect, like how Momo fought to protect her son and husband because of those feelings she had. I'm honestly not sure. This is a very strange chapter, and I really can't wait for next week's. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. What does it mean that Koru has feelings, and how is this different from the ones that came before her? So be sure to like, subscribe. Until next time,
Peace.